Ladakh is an ultra sensitive border state of India's Himalayan territories. The line of actual control, the line of control with Pakistan, I mean, both pass through this. There is China to one side, there is Pakistan, a hostile, implacably hostile Pakistan on the other. And we recently had conflict there in 2020 when the Chinese staged their intrusions, and there was a major military standoff in this region. The Siachen battlefield has only calmed down a bit now, but during the Kargil war this region was again on fire. So the simple fact is that India just cannot afford, we just cannot afford any grievances to fester among these simple, lovable, mountainous people. I have served many tenures in Ladakh, and I have grown to love the simple Buddhist Shia people of Ladakh. They are some of the most patriotic citizens of this country. Almost half the population of Ladakh serves in the Ladakh Scouts, the army and some other regiments, right? They are the best mountain troopers in the world. They are born in the high altitude, their lungs have that capacity, they don't have to acclimatize. You can send them to the Siachen, you can send them anywhere. They are the hardiest troops, they are locals who can live off the land. They are the best mountaineers that I have seen. You see, a Ladakhi, he comes to even a bloody cliff, what he will do is he will stoop down, pick up a handful of sand and throw it up at that mountain face. Even if 1 or 2 grains stick, he will climb. The total mountain goat. He is supremely tough, and they are so simple. They are what the old Gurkhas used to be in the British period. You see, I had done a major patrol there. It was a special mission. When I was part of the Advanced Mountain Warfare Course, we had been sent to reconnoiter routes to outflank Skardu in the case of any war, etc. So we had climbed the South Glacier in 1976. No special equipment, no nothing. And I had stayed there with the Ladakhi boys and Nunus as they are called. So, we were dead tired marching through the sand of the Shyok river, and we reached that post in the evening. I was so happy to sit down next to a bonfire, and get my Nunu Sahayak, he brought me a hot cup of coffee, and it was, my God, like heaven after you were so tired, you see. And then I thanked him a hell of a lot, and I really praised how nice your coffee was, thank you so much. And especially, so when I was going in the morning, this boy picks up a huge tin of Nescafe coffee, this big, and he says, "Saab, aapko acha laga, aap le jao." I said, "What are you talking, young man? I'm thank you so much for that delicious, lovely coffee that rejuvenated me, but this is for your company, man. You can't give it to me like that, and how will I carry it? Everything is on my back." So he said, "No, Saab, don't worry about it. Ye to asman se girta hai." You see, for him, that huge tin of coffee cost nothing because it was parachuted by our aircraft. Parachuted, and they used to collect it and all. So he thought, what is the big fuss about it? He liked this cup of coffee. Here, take the whole bloody jar. So they are so simple. They are such sweet people. I feel deeply hurt, personally, deeply hurt to see such scenes of violence in Ladakh. 4 people have been killed, 70 have been injured. Unprecedented in Leh. The BJP office has been attacked and burned. CRPF, police vehicles have been gutted, burnt, destroyed, property looted, this thing, that thing. How the hell has that happened in the Shangri-La of Ladakh? How have we allowed things to come to such a pass? Now there are 2 sharply polarized views. When you listen to the media and our television channels and go to the YouTube, there are 2 sharply polarized views. One is, it is all the doing of Sonam Wangchuk, the Magsaysay award winner. Magsaysay Award winner, everybody's ears in India pricks up. But I thought this man was slightly different, at least to start with. Right? People are saying he's been funded by foreign agencies, he's getting money for his NGOs, and he has tried to provoke another Gen Z revolt like in Bangladesh, like in Nepal, into that ultra sensitive border state of Ladakh. We simply can't afford it, man. You can't afford not to have the people of Ladakh with you. I mean, unthinkable. So what the hell is the problem? Let's first take a look at the problem, right? The Ladakhis are demanding what? They are asking for Ladakh to be turned from a union territory to a state with its own legislative assembly, with its own elected people who will make decisions on local issues. They are especially concerned about their fragile economy, on how much tourism can be permitted, how much infrastructure creation can be permitted before, we've seen the devastation in Himachal Pradesh, we've seen the devastation in Uttaranchal and what can happen. So we have to be very sensitive to the fragile ecological, conditions of these border regions. They want the 6th schedule of the constitution to be applied there as it has been applied in a number of northeastern states. They want safeguards for the tribal autonomy, etc. They want to have a say in what kind of technologies can be brought in, whether hydel power should come in or solar power, etc. Things like that. How much of tourism should be allowed, how much is too much. Then, the basic problem is very high levels of youth unemployment. Amazing. The army is the bulk, the border roads are constructing so much and all. I am quite surprised as to how avenues of employment should not be there in Ladakh. There is very high level of penetration of the social media, very high level of penetration, and they are very active on the social media, and you just put these things together, you link it with Gen Z impatience, and we have a tragic situation on our hands. We simply can't afford it. This area is strategically far too sensitive and important for us to let any grievance fester. Now, one view is, no, this is all a CIA plot. Of course, the CIA will fish in your troubled waters. Of course, the CIA will try and magnify grievances and demands and turn it to your disadvantage. Why give them that opportunity? We have to be extremely sensitive in areas like this. This is not mainland India. This is your extreme border region, simple people, Buddhist, Ladakhis, Shias, very patriotic. I know the level of support they have given to the armed forces, and therefore I feel pained. Why should the situation come to such a pass in such a sensitive region? I honestly am at a loss as to how it should have happened. One view is to blame it all on Sonam Wangchuk, the NGOs, the CIA playbook, and that it is a totally manufactured, colored kind of a revolution in the making in the Shangri-La of Ladakh. That is one view. And there is some merit. Because Magsaysay Awards, we all know who gets the Magsaysay Award. You create, figures like this and then exploit them. Exploit them to magnify local grievances and drive them out of hand. You see, the problem comes is once you try and give them a violent color. So far, they were protesting peacefully. They were doing fasts, Gandhian fasts. And now suddenly these people of Ladakh have, there seems to be a perception कि कोई सुन ही नहीं रहा, कि इसका कोई फर्क ही नहीं है. And there is a perception which I have heard from many local people that the bureaucracy is very insensitive. They think we are unlettered, uncouth people who don't know a damn, and they know what is good for us. They will tell us what we will do and just shut the F up. You see, So, I think that can be very, very damaging in the long term. At least listen. Listen to the grievances before it boils over. Be sensitive. Be attentive. That I'm afraid there is no shortcut onto that particular direction. It is a border state. Those people are shedding their life and blood for you. You can't afford to alienate them. You have to mollycoddle them. You have to go one step more than this thing. सीमांत प्रदेशों के रक्षक हैं ये. You forget about कि बाकी लोगों से बराबरी. You have to mollycoddle. You have to give them much more than there is their due. You have to keep them happy. And if there are elements like this, I'm sure they can be identified. It's such a small population, they can be dealt with. There is no question of violence, please. There is no question of violence. But why create a situation when the people get a feeling that unless we do violence, nobody will listen to us? We've seen the problems in Manipur, we've seen the problems in elsewhere, and we can't afford it. There are the enemies gunning for India's jugular. Donald Trump is hostile to India even as Joe Biden had become. Hostile openly. He's doing everything in the playbook to cause damage to India and Indian society in general. So we have quite obviously to be on the guard. Of course, people will fish in our troubled waters, but we have to head them off. We have to ensure that before it happens, we have anticipated, we have been proactive and not reactive and doing firefighting and then doing a blame game and then using the CIA playbook to damn anybody who raises a voice in protest and stifle that protest. I'm not very sure if that is the best way. I'm not sure. Yes, there are people like that. Of course, there are people like that. Of course, they have to be dealt with. Of course, they have to be identified, named and shamed. And those who instigate violence have to face the law. They have to face the law. I'm sorry, that's not done. You don't destroy public property. You don't attack your own infrastructure. But then we have to be very mindful of local sensitivities in such ultra sensitive regions. What are the obstacles to giving them statehood? What is the obstacles to giving them, the sixth schedule? One obstacle is that, the bureaucrats might feel is that we have to do a lot of infrastructure creation in Ladakh, which necessarily does not help the local sensitive ecology. But that it has to be done because it is in the vital national security interests. There's no way you can ignore those national security imperatives. We have the routes going via Jammu Kashmir, then Kargil onto Ladakh. We are trying to create alternative routes via Manali, via Himachal Pradesh, the Atal Tunnel, etc. We'll have to complete this infrastructure. And then we can say, okay, the bare essential military infrastructure has been created, keeping in view the threats. And now, okay, we can give primacy to local ecological sensitivities. That means people are trying to play for time. In playing for time, you have to ensure that the people don't get the feeling that you are not listening. You are impervious. You are just being autocratic. That we will give you a bloody kick if you ask for anything. You can't do that, sir. Please. Not in Ladakh, not in Arunachal Pradesh. Sensitive, Seemant border Pradesh hai. You have to be very sensitive to the feelings of the local people, and they are some of the most lovely people that I have ever met in my life in India and outside. So simple, so religious, so patriotic. God bless the people of Ladakh, and I'm sure we will get over this like a bad dream, and I'm sure the government is doing its damnedest to see that there is no suffering, there is no angst amongst the people of this ultra sensitive border region, of the most patriotic people of the earth, of the most ultra, the most mountain troopers par excellence. You can't get better mountain troops than these. And simple Nonuas, God bless the Nonus, God bless Ladakh, God bless India. We've got to keep it together with sensitivity. Where we have to act tough, we will act tough. But sensitivity towards the people is imperative, especially in places like Ladakh. Jai Bharat, Jai Hind.